Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to be working on some soap science with Candlescience's melt and pour soap making kit. And hey, if you like DIYs and how-tos, do the things like follow and subscribe and stick around for more. Alright, so we will be making 6 soaps. This kit does make a total of 12. I did use half of the melt and pour soap. And we're just opening the box here. We got some soap dye, blue and green, an empty isopropyl little spray bottle, rubber scraper, the actual mold, a microwavable melt and pour pitcher, and the crystal soap base, as well as 2 scents, a Caribbean teak wood and a Himalayan scent. Alright, and the box is empty. And it of course came with a nice instruction manual, a lot of pictures and good getting started, helpful tips, cleanup. Everything is numbered from a total of 1 to 10 steps, as well as a picture material list. It is recommended that you use at least 70% isopropyl alcohol, which of course I sent my significant other to the store to get me some, and we are medical grade. We're working with 91% here. Alright, I'm just going over some of the getting started, and as well as checking to make sure that we have all the materials. There was a cutting board, a knife, and plastic wrap, as well as isopropyl alcohol that is not included. You will also need access to a microwave as well, so I do recommend doing this craft in your kitchen. I will also be using 2 of my own scents, Fog and Fern and Ice Ginger Snap. They are not only candle approved, they are soap approved as well through Candlescience. And this is not sponsored. I did buy this with my own money. So let's get our isopropyl alcohol bottle filled up because we need to ensure that our surface is clean. So I'm going to spray down the cutting board, the knife, the rubber spatula, the silicone mold before we get started with our soaps. Alright, so back to it. We filled our 1-ounce bottle with the isopropyl alcohol. We washed our cutting board, knife, and all of our supplies that we will be using. Our workspace does have access to our microwave, and we need to get the soap out of the container, as that is our very first step. On the edges here so that way I can get the soap to release from the container. Alright, once it is popped out, alright, so we're going to cut the soap down to about, I'd say, a 1/2 to 1/4 inch cubes, and place the cubes into our melt and pour pitcher. You do want to make sure that the cuts are pretty uniform. You don't want to end up with chunky, although you can put your soap back in for like 15 to 30 second intervals if the first time you put them in and it is not mixed all the way through. we have our first soap ready to go. It's all melted. I do advise, if you're not familiar with candle making or soap making or anything like this, don't be ambitious like me. Just follow the directions. Make your 6 soaps, not 6 individual scented soaps that are colored and mica'd and everything else. So the very first scent I did make was iced ginger snap, as we are coming up to the holiday season, and I really wanted to take advantage of that festive smell in my bathroom. I did use some coffee colored mica powder as well, as that is safe for the soap and your skin. It just gives the soap a nice little shiny shimmer, and then the iced ginger snap, of course, makes it feel like you smell like a yummy cookie. Just want to make sure that everything is evenly incorporated. I'm just dropping in some of the scent. You definitely do not need a lot. A little does go a long way. And then you can add dye to it. I did not this first soap, just because of the fact that the mica did change it to kind of like that cookie gingerbready type color. You do want to make sure that once you have it melted, everything's mixed, that you move a little bit faster than the pace that I am. I learned pretty quickly right out the gate that this stuff does solidify fast, and my very first soap did kind of have a little bit of chunkies, and you do not want to overheat your soap, because overheated soap will become rubbery. You can still use it, it just won't lather as much. And also remember that once it is poured into your mold, to spray with a little bit of your alcohol onto the surface of the soap. It removes the bubbles, but don't worry, it evaporates quickly and it will not affect your finished soap. And as well, this kit, it is a great project to do with your kids, you know, especially around the holiday season where they're on vacation or a holiday break from school. Just remember that the soap base is very hot when melted, and you do not want to leave children unattended while you are crafting your soap. So I basically repeated these steps 5 more times. I did wipe everything off in between just because I didn't want to mix scents and colors and blend and everything else. But I'm happy with the results and how everything turned out. This was just as simple as what it says. You cut it up, you melt it, you pour it, and then you need to leave it sit for 24 hours. So let's enjoy a little bit of a montage of me making the other 5 soaps. Now, as you've seen, I did bring out my scale. This is another reason why I said, hey, just follow the directions, melt everything, pour all at once. Then you wouldn't come to where you need to know how many ounces of your soap are going to fit into your container. I did off camera go through, measure the water, convert it to the difference in the viscosity of the water versus the actual soap base, and, you know, just went from there. All right, back to the time lapse. As you can see there, I did put the soap away, and I do have half of the container left. So I will be doing this soap making kit with my kiddos as well, and kind of maybe changing the molds up a little bit. I'd like to do maybe some holiday, you know, so they can make some maybe to give out to their grandparents. And all right, let's go through again. So we have our isopropyl alcohol, the 2 cents, the dyes that came with it, which I will have this dye for a very long time. I did not use a lot. The rubber spatula, melt and pour pitcher, and we still have half of our soap base left, as well as our mold, the directions. I mean, everything was so easy to follow on this kit. Candlescience did a really great job making something that is very accessible and easy to do at a pretty decent price. I will make sure that the kit is linked down below, as I believe they were having a sale. I'm not sure if they still are, but with Black Friday coming up, hey, I'm sure you could probably get this kit at a pretty decent price. So there is some first aid procedures for the fragrance oil, for skin contact, eye contact, inhalation, and indigestion. So if any of those do occur, they do recommend that you contact your physician in case there's any irritation that persists. You know, you want to flush your eyes immediately with water for 15 minutes if they get in your eyes. You want to move to fresh air if you notice any irritation if you inhaled it. Drink water or milk if you ingested it. And then, of course, if it irritates your skin, do not continue to use. And I mean, who couldn't get any easier in those directions? I mean, like, I feel like my cat could probably make this if he could read. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And hey, hit that like, comment, subscribe, do the things if you like to see more how-tos and more DIYs. All right, guys, bye.